I'll make you a deal, my friends. If this video gets, let's say 15,000 likes, I'll make a follow-up doing all of the other base game bosses and the DLC, and the DLC, and the DLC. Well, looks like I'm free from the torment that is the Fist of Gratia. Time to move on.
Is it though, Doom?
What? JK, is that... How are you here?
Never mind that. When I gave you that weapon, I didn't think you'd quit. I gave you a wonderful gift here, and I think to show your gratitude to me, you need to finish the run.
Bro, have you seen this thing? I feel like it's a brass knuckle made out of Nerf darts.
Wow, that does suck.
What? Lemon, you too? How did you guys get here?
Bedroom window. But that doesn't matter. All that matters is you're a challenge runner, and challenge runners don't quit.
Come on, man. This thing is awful. It just sucks. And have you seen how much health the DLC bosses have?
Man, get a load of this guy. You're beating the game normally and still complaining?
Guys, come on. It's just like...
Finish the run.
Finish the run.
Finish the run,
Finish
Doom.
the run, Doom.
Finish the run, Doom.
Finish the run.
Finish the run.
All right. I'll do it. Bloodborne Fist of Gratia 2, DLC BOOGALOO. For those of you that are joining and haven't watched part 1 of this pain, allow me to catch you up. This is the Fist of Gratia. The Fist of Gratia sucks. It has absolutely trash tier damage and a whopping 1 attack. 2 if you count the sprinting attack, but it's actually the same as the standing swing, it just gives you a little bit of extra distance, so 1.5 attacks, I guess. And as you can probably guess, it has virtually no range. Now what am I doing here? Well, the base game was so fun, I thought I would take on the DLC. And the base game bosses I skipped too, I guess. There really isn't a whole lot more, and since I already cleared most of the game, this video is going to be a bit different than normal. You'll see what I mean momentarily. The 5 base game bosses still alive are Logarius, Amy, the Celestial Emissary, Dark Beast Parl, and Ebrietis. Of them, I figured Logarius would be the one to give me the least amount of trouble, but I am curious to know what everyone else thinks. Comment down below which boss you think will be the hardest and which will be the easiest. The results might surprise you. I sprint like a madman through Castle Cainhurst, fitting description as I'm using this weapon, and arrive at Father Christmas himself. Welcome to Doomwolf Live, I guess. I don't know what to call this. I just thought it would be kind of fun to, like, talk over the fights. I don't have like a proper script for this. I have notes about each fight, but that's kind of it. Because, let's be real, this run, the Fist of Gratia run, is just... And then I hit the boss a lot. Like, that's all it is. I cannot... I cannot write 10 minutes over a single boss fight when all I do is I just kidney punch the boss to death. So, here we are. Alright, so, Martyr Logarius. He's not hard, like, even with this weapon. He's just kind of... He's just kind of there. As you can see in Phase 1, he gets staggered in one hit, so it's like a normal fight, really, just at extremely low damages. Unfortunately, that's not really the case in Phase 2. There's an asterisk next to that, which I'll get to in a second. But in normal play, as you can see right now, I'm hitting him and it's not staggering him. That's kind of it, though. I mean, there's not a whole lot extra to Martyr Logarius. When he does his little sword summoning thing, which he just did, you just run at it and swing once before he has a chance to, like, do anything else, and that takes care of it. And then that's more or less the whole fight. I wish I had more to say, but it's Martyr Logarius, and like I said, this weapon is just... And then I punch the boss. A whole lot. This fight ended up being 6 minutes. And it's at double time right now, so 3... Oh, right there. Okay. I was waiting for that to happen. I broke his stance. So a lot of people, and I still get these comments on the first video, a lot of people say that the Fist of Gratia can repost bosses. It can't. What they're usually referring to, I assume this is the only instance of this happening, is that in Martyr Logarius' fight, you can break his limb and it will put him in a parryable state, which is what I did. I broke one of his kneecaps and it put him down. But it is not... This weapon cannot parry riposte. It just doesn't. But... On the upside, as you can see now, he is staggering in one hit, so it's back to just Phase 1 again. It's dodge an attack and then hit him. And that's basically Martyr Logarius. It's not hard to do with the Fist of Gratia. To be fair, most of the fights in this game aren't hard to do with the Fist of Gratia. They are just excruciatingly long. Here, right about this time, I was like, I don't want to fight near the ledge, which is what he keeps, like, spinning around me and going really close to the ledge, and the sword clipped through the floor, which was nice for me, but I backed up like that just to fight more in the center of the arena, which is funny because I think he ends up going back to the ledge anyway, but whatever. My game plan for Phase 2 was to just bait the flying attack that you see me chasing him around for, and that's pretty much it. Martyr Logarius is the easiest boss. One boss down, 9 to go. I wasn't sure what I wanted to level up because, honestly, I mean, what do you even do in this situation? Probably just dump everything into health and endurance. After a quick wiki check, I realized I was already at the point of diminishing returns for health and strength, but 3 away in endurance, so I just went without one. Then I spent a little more on repairing my weapon because could you imagine this thing doing any less damage? I make my way to Yahar Ghul, terrified of the encounter to come, as for the first time in maybe ever, I'm going to have to fight this boss normally. I did get lost on my way there. No, wait, no, I mean I totally came this way for the worthless bloodstone chunk. Yeah, that's right. I always get lost making my way through the streets of Yarnum, not exactly sure why. I mean, navigating Victorian London is probably easier than navigating the World Wide Web, with all its dangers. Thankfully, today's sponsor, Surfshark, is here to help with that. Whether you're a busy on-the-go individual worried about trusting totally safe and free Wi-Fi, no trust me bros connection, or just want to watch your favorite shows that aren't available in your location, they got you covered. Personally, I don't leave my house, but because of that, I'm geo-locked into not having access to The Lord of the Rings on Netflix. Well, guess what? I just gotta use Surfshark to tell my ISP that we now live in Italy, and wow, I can stream the greatest movie trilogy ever made. And it only took like 3 button presses too, so easy. Seriously though, as great as it is to watch any show that I want, the privacy and peace of mind that comes with Surfshark by itself is more than enough for me to want to share this product with you. Keep yourself safe out there with Surfshark, but if you do ever have to download something from a website with more download buttons than there are number of polygons in Bloodborne, cough cough cheat engine, then Surfshark has you covered there too. Surfshark Antivirus is a powerful tool that secures everything from your files to your webcam so you can download without a worry. And if you're still not convinced, what if I told you they're offering a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there is no need to hesitate, just try it out and I'm sure you'll love it. Click my link in the description or pinned comment below and get an extra 4 months free of secure protection. Thanks again to Surfshark for sponsoring this video, now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Okay, Dark Beast Parl, live me, do your thing. Alright, Dark Beast Parl, so I said Martyr Ligurius was the easiest, and it's probably true across all of the bosses I have to do. But this was both easier and harder than I thought it would be. First, it was a 3.5 minute fight, which is relatively short for a weapon like this. But it's easy because he doesn't have a lot of health, but it's hard because I've never really fought this boss before, so it's just a skill issue, you know how it is. My original plan going into this fight was to play it like a normal encounter, so break, you know, one limb, the second, the third, the fourth, and then go for the head, and at that point it would be the kill, except it wouldn't be the kill because this weapon does fuck all for damage. The problem is that, one, I can hardly hit a limb. I mean, you see me occasionally missing them. It's just because they're so narrow and this hitbox isn't very big. It's not a sweeping attack that I always just prefer long sweeping attacks, but this is not that at all. So I miss the limbs a lot. And even when I do hit them, it takes a couple hits to actually stagger the boss. And then, like I said, it's not enough damage to actually do anything. So if I were to redo this fight, which I won't, but if I were to redo this fight, I would probably break a limb and then go for the head and just try and get as much damage as I can. And then just repeat that, right? Just limb, head, limb, head, limb, head. Until the boss is eventually worn down. But at this point in the playthrough, I mean, I'd finished the game, right? This is after, well, technically before Moon Presence because I loaded a save state, but I had a lot of health and defense just because I'd leveled up various stats. So the fight wasn't hard, it was just there. Sorry. But, yeah. I don't think I dodged that explosion a single time in this encounter. He did it like 5 or 6 times or something, and I just never, ever dodged it. I tried. That one, you saw me trying to run away, but nope. But yeah, that's Dark Beast Parl. He's just... He's there. I can finally say that I've seen this boss's moveset. I think he's cool. I think it's a cool boss. I wish he was more formidable, but he's not. This is going much better than I thought. Something's wrong. Game, what are you trying to pull? I don't trust you. With another point in endurance, I turn my attention to the Nightmare Frontier, readying myself to take on the walnut-headed Amy. Alright, so Amy. Oh boy, this was not a hard fight at all. I didn't expect it to be hard in the, like, traditional difficult sense. I did expect it to be hard in the amount of time it takes to beat her sense. It took me 9 minutes. This was a 9-minute fight, and the reason that took so long is because, as you can see, hitting her in her leg or her tail does very small amounts of damage, like 3, right? That's nothing. I don't know what the boss has. Editing me, if you could throw that on screen right now, that'd be great. But the boss has more than, 3 health, so that takes a long time. The obvious solution is to hit her in her face, which works. It does, what was that, like 229, I think I saw. But I'm really bad at doing that. Even when I have a weapon that, like, has vertical reach, I was always just trash at hitting her in her chin. I did get better at it in this fight, probably out of necessity, but that's, like, the whole plan, is to just run underneath her, bait the jump, sprint at the camera, and then uppercut her in the face. And that's it. There's not a whole lot of danger. One of the biggest dangers... One of the biggest dangers for me, and I think she'll do it here in a second, maybe, is this kind of like magic arm slam attack. Whenever you run at her, she'll slam her fist down, and I got hit by that attack like every time she did it. I'm assuming that the reason it exists is to stop you from being underneath her, right? Which, it's doing its job, sort of. But that was the most dangerous attack for me. After that was the stomp that you see here. I dodged those ones pretty easy because the hitbox on the stomp isn't actually very large. I do get hit by them later because I'm, skill issue. That attack, that's the arm slam that I was talking about. But the stomp, and then she also has this claw drag attack, which is probably the most threatening thing that she can do because it has deceptively long range unless you are directly behind the end of her tail. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage. I mean, it does enough, I guess, but it's the one that'll hit you if you were to try this, which, by the way, I don't recommend that you try this game, or try... No, wait, I said that wrong, I'm sorry. Definitely recommend that you try this game if you haven't. Absolutely do not recommend trying this weapon. It is not a fun weapon. Right here, I was sprinting away from the boss because I didn't want her near the wall. That's pretty much it, though. I just wanted to get away, that way I could bait the jumps better. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole fight, though. It's not hard, it just takes forever. Earlier, I didn't say it because I wasn't paying super close attention, I guess. But I broke her tail and her leg at some point, and that does do extra damage. It goes from like 3 to, I don't know, like 20 or 11 or something like that. It's not a whole lot, but technically better than 3, right? She's already repaired it, so I'm back to doing 3. But that's the whole Amy fight. There's nothing much else to say about it. When she goes into phase 3, well, when she goes into phase 3, something happened in my game, and I don't know why. Basically, she almost exclusively went for jump attacks. I don't even know if that's I don't actually know if her jump has a hitbox on it. I'm assuming it does, but I dodged pretty much every time anyway. But anyway, she exclusively went for the jump. And I don't know if that was just luck, or if because she rips her arms off, like she loses a couple moves, or what. I'm not complaining, because it definitely sped up the fight right at the end, but it exists. So here, like, I get underneath her, she goes for a jump, right? I hit her. She didn't attack there, which is good, because it disproves my point, haha. But I didn't realize that while I was doing the run. I just thought, oh, she's only going for the jump. So I guess she did do a couple of attacks. And I guess what happened is I just closed the distance, and the next attack that she queued up was another jump. So alright, well, I was half right then. But it does definitely look to me like she's just doing almost exclusively the jump. Oh well, that's the Amy fight. Well, there's no avoiding it now. Time to head to the Upper Cathedral Ward. Allow me to give you all a preview as to why I'm not looking forward to this boss. Yep, pretty much anything blue and squishy in this game has a crazy amount of blunt damage resistance. Care to take a guess what damage type my one attack does? I mean, that damage is bad even by this thing's standards. Well, probably still better than the DLC, so Celestial Emissary. Okay, now this is the fight I was most worried about. Not because the boss is hard. Similar to Amy, the boss isn't particularly hard, it's just I knew I was going to be doing absolutely nothing for damage. Also, there's a mob of them, and they're not hard to avoid, but any kind of multi-fight on a low damage run is not a good time, right? Because you got to worry about actually hitting the boss to do damage, while also not getting swarmed by all of the stupid little ads in the fight. The solution, in this case, was to run big circles around them. The original solution, or my original thought, as you can see there, was to run up the stairs, which will make all of the fast, not boss ones follow me quickly. The boss one should stay down there. It works. As you can see, I'm just chasing the boss. I run in and get a hit or two, and then back off before the other ones show up. That's pretty much it, though. You'll see me running around these big pillars a whole lot, because I was just trying to bait that attack. The good news, air quotes good news, is that this is one of the only fights in the game where the rally system actually works with the Fist of Gratia, because there's so many of them. Obviously, it doesn't work if you get hit multiple times, but if I were to get hit and then swing into the group and hit like 4 of them at once, it would actually heal me back to a decent amount of health. I only think I got to do that once, and honestly, I don't remember if it was before or after I said that, but it's there. But yeah, that's pretty much this fight, was to just kite them around in circles and hope that I was able to punch them. Or, excuse me, hope that I was able to punch them without getting hit, which, to be fair, is like every fight, but whatever. Just avoid being attacked. The big pillars definitely helped with separating the enemies out and keeping the boss, you know, at a nice distance. That way I didn't have to worry about it. I did have to find the boss, but whatever. The fight only lasted about 4 minutes, which is surprisingly short. In fact, now we're back into normal time. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Editing me, you got anything? Yeah, thanks, Live Me, but I got nothing. I slowed down the footage and even asked other runners about it, but we don't know, really. I couldn't find anything online about it happening to someone else either. My first thought was it was a weird combination of hitting the boss, them dodging, and them transforming, but I feel like he had too much health to go into his second phase. Mr. Metagross suggested that maybe he clipped into a death plane, which would make sense with him instantly dying, but that would mean the death plane is extremely close to the walkable ground. Whether FromSoft would do that or not, I don't really know. Panda Migdala hypothesizes that the Phase 2 variation simply loaded in incorrectly, like under the map, and killed the boss instantly, something we see a lot of with Bambi and Elden Ring. I'm inclined to agree with this, but my only hesitation is, was the boss even at the threshold of phase transition? And even then, how come no one else has reported this happening, at least not what my few minutes of Googling could find? If anyone out there knows what happened or have seen this before, please let me know. At any rate, that definitely takes some pressure off, as I was worried about this fight. This is the game being nice before the DLC decides to show me what a real Fist of Gratia is, isn't it? It was at this point I decided that there was some prep work I wanted to do. So I put my game into online mode and dive into some chalice dungeons. First up, the Undead Giant. For a second there, I got real excited thinking this weapon was actually weaponing, but I just broke the zit. Wouldn't it be wild if the Fist of Gratia was like super powerful in the Chalice dungeons, but no one was ever insane enough to try it out, so no one knew that? That's 100% not the case and not a build to a joke, it's just wishful thinking. I'm not going to live edit this one because the fight isn't even terribly long. I mean, I'm not doing good damage, but the boss doesn't have a lot of health. At one point, I even got a limb break into a Skull Crusher combo for some serious damage. After just around a minute, the Undead Giant is now the Re-Dead Giant. One floor down, I take on the Merciless Watcher trio. Now, walking into this room, I was terrified because it's 3 bosses and they are blue and squishy. Emphasis on the squishy part though. It took a whopping 8 hits to kill these guys. 8! Well, okay, what I mean is to kill one, it took 8 hits, but that's only 24 hits total. This is the only time across both videos where this weapon showed any kind of usability, especially considering each hit staggered the Watchers, so with enough stamina and or good positioning, it would just be possible to chain stagger them to death. With the Root Chalice now in hand, I can make a labyrinth with code XC284UGX. Why would I want to do this, you ask? Well, there is a side area before the boss which has the highest level Communion Rune. Joke's on you guys, I still got the rune. With all 3 Communion Runes equipped, I can hold a maximum of 32 Blood Vials. Next, I return to Castle Cainhurst and put on my crown to reveal the hidden chamber behind the boss arena. I grab the unopened summons and deliver it to Alfred. Oh wait, Tarnished Streets? Guys, From Software was hitting an Elden Ring way back in the Bloodborne days. Deepest lore. Returning to Castle Cainhurst, I can see that Alfred has spilled some ketchup all over the room, surely meaning he will never be invited back, then he dies of embarrassment where I first met him. In his hands though is the Radiance Rune, which boosts heals by 2%. It ain't much, but well, no, it just ain't much. Alright, with that out of the way, time to try Ebrietas. That was 15 minutes into my first attempt. 15. And she's at 50% health, guys. Okay, don't worry, I have a plan. It involves a lot of running around and screaming, but it's a plan. First, I grab the Cosmic Eye Watcher badge, which will let me buy sedatives. More on why those are important later. Next, I return to Old Yharnam and climb this ladder and make a mistake. I think. Jura starts to walk at me, but I have never done his quest to make him non-hostile, so I just immediately punched him in the face, causing him to want to fight. Then he proceeds to shoot himself off of the building. So, sorry about that, Jura. Anyway, with that, I'm able to buy the Ashen Hunter set, which has crazy good frenzy defense. With the Hunter gear I was wearing, I had a total of 119 frenzy defense, and now it's at 137. Similar to the sedatives, this will make sense later, though I'm sure you're already connecting the dots. I then buy a crap load of Beast Blood pellets to get rid of my insight, but these, well, we'll talk about those too, just you wait. Alright, Ebrietas, take number 2. No, that's fine, that was just 18 minutes of wasting my life. It's fine, really, I'm okay, I love this game, I fucking love this game! Alright, so Ebrietas is being a pain in the dick, I figured I might as well try Ludwig to gauge how that's going to go. After all, he's gatekeeping the whole DLC. Honestly, not bad for a first attempt. At this point, I had wasted a couple hours on Ebrietas, and the idea of fighting either of them again made me want the Fist of Gratia myself in the face, but there was still technically something I could do to make it better, albeit only slightly. So I head back to the Nightmare of Mensis where I grab this moon rune and then L-pose in front of the brain for 30 seconds until it also gives me another moon rune. Now, we get controversial. Originally, I had thought to use the Shadows and Pigs here to farm levels, because obviously I can't do it myself. I was able to get a decent chunk of echoes, if everything went my way. The run back isn't terrible either, but honestly, the idea of farming for anything at this point, knowing I still had multiple mountains of uphill battles to go, I just couldn't. So, for the first time in my life, I fucked my levels. Wait, put down your pitchforks, here is my olive branch of peace. This run, I'm doing it so you don't have to. Please never use this stupid weapon. Second, slightly smaller olive twig of peace, this is the max I'm going to go to. I hit the soft caps in health, endurance, and strength. Sure, I could keep going to 99 and get a little more out of this build, but I do feel like where I stopped is a relatively realistic level to achieve had I just farmed from the pigs. In other words, this is basically as strong as I'm going to get on this run, so if I can't do it now, well then it's just a skill issue. Anyway, I still wasn't feeling doing Ebrietas, so it's back to Ludwig I go. Okay, it's time for Ludwig. Interesting fight. This is about the time of the run where this weapon started to, like, Stockholm Syndrome me. For some reason, and I hate that I'm about to say this, for some reason, this weapon seems to work okay against every single boss in the DLC. Now, it does not do any damage. Right there, you see me doing 178 per swing or whatever. It does absolutely fuck all for damage. But every single boss, with the exception of maybe the Living Failures, which I'll get into, has a weird quirk with this weapon. In this case, as you can see, Ludwig is staggering after 1 or 2 hits, which sounds normal, except the weird problem is that it happens after he attacks. If I hit him when he's at the end of an animation, he will stagger, which gives me plenty of time to just, back off and wait for another attack. So in theory, you could just kind of like hit him once and then back up and then just repeat that cycle over and over until you win at almost no danger. Obviously, that's not how it really works because Ludwig is very frantic, and I can't actually remember off the top of my head, but I don't think Phase 2 is the same way. But in Phase 1, which I always consider to be the harder of the 2 phases, he staggers in 1 hit. That's insane. He does not do it if you hit him the first time in like a normal state, but then it's only 2, which is still pretty ridiculous for this boss. So this is the first instance of this weapon like not completely sucking, but it's still not great because it's just not. The fight ended up being a total of 10 minutes, which, yeah, I kind of expected that. If anything, I would have guessed that it would be longer than that, but 10 minutes isn't terrible for this thing. I think we're about to go into Phase 2. There we are. I guess we'll just sit here and watch. I forgot to edit this out, and you know what? We're just gonna leave it. We are gonna watch this cutscene transition again. Shout out to J.K. Leeds for thinking this is the best boss phase transition cutscene in the series. So this is for you. All right, Phase 2. He gets, I think it gets easier. You'll see me taking more random hits, but a lot of his combos are like have a definitive end. And that's it though. It's literally just circle the boss and then hit him. One thing I wonder, and I should look this up. Editing me, if you could, you know, look this up and then put it on the screen now. I sure hope I remember to do these whenever I'm rewatching this as an edit. Can you check the resistance, the arcane resistance on this set, the Ashen Hunter set? Because I feel like I was not taking very much damage in this boss. I feel like every other time I've done this fight, all of his arcane attacks absolutely ripped through me like a hot knife through butter. So I don't know why, but I'm not taking very much damage here. Not that I'm complaining. Speaking of damage, in my notes, I had it written down. This is probably because I did the cumfuck. I had it written down that my hits went from 106 to 127. Excuse me, 106 or 127 damage, depending on when I hit him, to 148 and 178. So, I mean, cumfucking, it helped, but like, how much, I don't really know. But yeah, Ludwig. Great fight. It was kind of fun to actually, like, fight him for this extended amount of time, and that's about it. I don't have anything else to talk about with the crazy horseman. He just exists. So, I'll take this time to say a deep thank you to every single one of my subscribers, the channel members, the patrons. You guys really keep this channel alive. I mean, it literally wouldn't exist without you, so thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you all laugh at my stupid jokes and you enjoy these silly little videos, because I love making them, so thank you, sincerely, everybody. Alright, enough, as a certain famous TV character would say, no chick flick moments. If you know what that reference is, just comment below, because I'd love to see how many people got that reference. But anyway, Ludwig, I run out of stuff to talk to him, or talk about him. Right near the end of the fight, he starts doing his, like, air quotes, I guess it is mandatory, his mandatory, like, riposte state. But I do so, first off, I can't riposte him, but I do so little damage. I do it to him twice. At least I think that second time was. I don't know. That was Ludwig. He's done. Ludwig, Koss, and Lawrence are the three bosses I usually struggle with in the DLC, so I'm so glad that one of them is off the board. Nothing to do now but push forward. I forgot the eye pendant. Wait a minute, which side is the safe side again? Hello, Lawrence. I'll be back for you. Unfortunately, I really need to rewatch a speedrun of this game because I hate this area so much. For now, I'll just stand in this corner with a blue elixir on, hoping they don't notice me. After I feel I have sufficiently studied the way of the fist, it's time to face the living failures. Okay, the living failures. This, oh boy, this is the other one that I was super worried about. Not, man, I feel like I'm saying this about every single boss. Not because they're hard, but because, in this case, they have so much fucking health. Why do they have so much health? I looked it up. I think I got this from Fextra. They have like 22,646 health according to my notes. That's insane. Like, why do they have... Why? What is the point? And I was doing... What am I doing? 77 damage a swing? So we do math here. That's only 294.1, so 295 hits to kill them. Why does this boss exist? The worst part is, they're not hard. They've got, like, 4 attacks, 4 or 5. Okay, slightly more than that, but 4 or 5 that you will frequently see, which is that arm flail, that arcane missile thing that's happening right now, a head slam, and then that force push looking thing that one just did. Like that's it. Those and the meteor, of course. Those are the attacks that you're most likely to see. I think there's 2 or 3 more, but that's literally it. And I don't. Why does this boss exist? But yeah, okay. So strategy, as you can very easily see, is to just run in a big circle around the tree, taking pot shots at them as I run by them. It takes 2 hits to stagger them, which is fine. Their animations, at least a casting animation like that one, is long enough to secure or safely get those 2 hits. At some points, you'll see me run in and bait a melee attack. I almost die here, but you'll see me run in and bait a melee attack Because at the end of their melee attacks, they also have a large enough window to be hit twice and staggered, and then you just back off. Obviously, you can't, attack them first. Okay, I did there, but that's because I was already impatient in this fight, and it's living failures. Like, what else am I gonna do? Aside from run around the big tree, there is one other strategy, but I am only like a fifth into their health bar, so I'll wait till that actually becomes relevant. I'm sure you can guess what it is, because it's a strategy that you would use in a normal run. But yeah, I spend all of my time just running in giant circles, punching them in the kneecap. One of my favorite things, I saw it earlier, but I didn't comment on it when it happened. I'm sure it'll happen again. Is whenever they do the magic missile attack from their hand, if you kill them, or sorry, if you knock them out of it, probably if you kill them too, but if you knock them out of doing that, there's just like a black haze above them and it just stays there. I don't know why, I just thought that was kind of funny, because it's like, in my head, that would be, the whole animation is the black haze and the missiles, and I mean the missiles would have their own like particle effects and everything, but the little galaxy animation and the black haze that surrounds it, that should all be one thing. That's how I would have programmed that, which I guess is why I'm making the internet videos and not the one programming the boss fight. But hey, so I just think it's funny that like the galaxy disappears, but the hazy part doesn't, the shadowy part doesn't. Oh well. You know what's amazing is I know you guys can't see this, but I'm looking at I'm watching this in Premiere. I don't really think I said that earlier, but I have Audition and Premiere open at the same time, and I'm just watching the footage and talking over it. So I'm looking at the length of the fight in Premiere, and it's almost half done, but the boss's health bar is absolutely not at half, which means maybe 2/3 into this 10-minute long sped up recording, the boss is going to suddenly start dying really quickly. I'll give you 2 guesses why that's the case. I'm sure you can. There's a clue on screen. I'm sure you can figure it out. Air quotes clue. But that's it. That's living failures. It's literally big circle, punch them in the shin, wait for phase 2. And I don't know what else I can talk about them aside from that. So, how y'all doing? Y'all having a good time? I definitely don't recommend doing this run, no matter how much you think you might want to, no matter how good this fight looks. And I know it doesn't look good. You don't want to do this. Living Failures is probably the one fight in the whole DLC where the Fist of Gratia behaves like the Fist of Gratia. It doesn't have anything particularly helpful about it, because it's 2 hits to stagger, which is pretty standard, 2 or 3, and low damage, so it's just behaving like nothing. Sorry. No, I hope I remember. I'll have to go through and figure out. Man, I don't remember how to think. I'm sitting here watching the footage and I'm just like, where's that modem sound from my brain? Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna have to go through and edit out all the times I cleared my throat. If I miss one, I'm sorry. I don't mean to assault your eardrums with the sound of me clearing my throat. But I don't have anything else to say about the Living Failures, at least not until Phase 2 happens, which, oh boy, we're slowly getting there. I mean, there I killed one, and I've killed probably 1 or 2 before this recording. I really have been more focused on the notes, which are only like, there's 5 bullet points in my notes. 20 minutes, the damage amount, big circle, and that's about it. Ah, finally, Phase 2. Oh, something to talk about. Okay. So Phase 2, as you can see, or excuse me, everybody knows in Phase 2, there's kind of a safe spot in the... I don't really know what the reference is, but like I always just assume it's the bottom left part of the map, assuming that the entrance to this arena is the south part and then the exit is the north part, right? So it's the bottom, what is that, southwest corner. And here, that time, you actually saw me utilize it. The first time, I got hit, but it's fine. So now the plan is to try and group them together in that southwestern part of the map. And then whenever they cast this attack, to run up and just hit them. Specifically, if all 4 of them are in position, which that time they weren't, but I think at some point later in the fight they are, to run up and hit each of them 1 time, because they'll take the first hit like normal. The second hit will stagger them. So you want to hit one of them, or you want to hit each of them 1 time to get the most damage, and then just pick the safest one and hit it until you break its stance and just keep going. And you'll see, you finally see me using Beast Blood pellets. So, I got comments about this on the first video. Why didn't I use Beast Blood pellets? You are correct. Using them, I'm pretty sure, gives you a boost in damage. Yeah, so now I'm doing 121. So it gives you damage, an extra amount of damage. The problem is that this attack does not build Beast Blood virtually at all. The only reason it's building up here is because I have enough time to get off several, 5, 6 attacks before I have to stop. So I get a little bit out of it. But really, it's not... they're not useful. Sure, for the flat damage increase, it is helpful, but it's not like it was suddenly going to start doing Saw Cleaver amounts of damage. That was not going to happen. So I just opted to never use them, especially because most times there's only ever going to be like one chance to hit a boss. In here, this is where I was talking about, where I got all 4 of them in a good position. So I hit each of them once, and got lucky when I killed that one, which means I could have just kept going. But yeah, so Beast Blood pellets are not super useful. I do use them on another fight. I don't recall if I used them on the winning attempt of that fight. Actually, I think I used them for 2 more fights left in the DLC. Or this run, I suppose. I don't recall if I used them on the winning attempt for one of them, but I definitely tried. There's just not very many chances to do it. It's not really worth it, in my opinion. Well, okay. The counterpoint to that, I suppose, would be it does increase your flat damage, so technically worth it as long as you have them, but y'all understand my meaning. It's just not, I ate that meteor to the face. At this point, by the way, I was worried about dying because they're really close to dead, and I was like, if I choke here, I'm going to have to just stop doing this run because 20 minutes is a long time to be fighting a boss, okay? It's an especially long time to be fighting a boss where you just run around in big circles. But that's living failures. Haha, you were expecting script me, but it was me! Live me! That joke got weird. Yeah, so I didn't script anything there because I literally just went from the living failures straight into Maria because, I mean, there's nothing between them. It's literally just a doorway that's between the 2 of the bosses. In this fight, so this is another fight where the Fist of Gratia actually, air quotes, does good, right? I mean, it's still doing garbage damage, but it works against Maria because it staggers her in a single hit. And Maria herself is a pretty easy fight. You just walk to her left, and that's it. Most of her attacks can just be walked. You'll see me dodging a lot, but that's because I don't trust myself. But you literally just walk to her side and punch her a couple times, and it's fast enough to where you can stagger her, like I'm doing here. You can just keep hitting her. The danger, of course, is if you do it too much, you run out of stamina and get, a sword to the face. And it is possible to stagger her out of her big 2-handed slam. That one, but it takes, I believe, and the reason I say I believe is because it does not happen in one, so I believe it takes 2 hits, because there were several times in this fight where I saw the attack and was like, I have enough time to react, I'm gonna hit her, and it didn't knock her out of it. So I think it takes 2, which is unfortunate, because if it only took 1, this fight would be even more trivialized. Here she's in phase 2, but nothing changes, right? She has extra damage and attacks, but everything's the same as far as I'm concerned. She still gets staggered in 1 hit. Just walk up next to her and punch her a lot. And here, you can kind of see me, realizing that I'm not overpowered, but I'm realizing that because I can chain stagger her, even if she hits me, I can get pretty much all of my health back from it. So you'll see me just kind of, not care and walk up next to her and just continuously punch her even after getting hit. But Lady Maria is not a hard fight. How long did this one take me? 6 minutes. Only a 6-minute fight, which, again, 6 minutes is a long time for a single boss, but all things considered, it's really not. Here she goes into phase 3, but big surprise, that's it. She's got fire now, extra danger, which is true. It is more dangerous, but kidney punch. That's all this fight is. I'm just punching her in the kidneys. Lady Maria she's the fight that I did not expect to have a problem with because of the stagger. I knew going into this DLC that she would be the easy one. Well, easy in air quotes, right? She definitely was the easiest of the 5 DLC bosses, though, which is good. I could use a break because, whoo, we got Lawrence and Koss left. That's a fun time. Oh boy. But yeah, Lady Maria. Ebrietis? Yeah, I didn't think so. At this point, only 3 bosses remain, and I honestly didn't know which one would be the easiest. But I was tired of getting slapped around by tentacles, so I thought a nice change of scenery would be good for me. I forgot the fucking skull. First attempt went better than I expected. I mean, I still died, but like, that's a lot of damage. Okay, Lawrence the First Vicar. Oh no. Okay, so this, first and foremost, I definitely considered doing the slam loop cheese, which is, you saw me right there at the beginning. I did it a couple times, but I decided like that was a last resort kind of thing, right? Like I already boosted my levels with the cumfuck dungeon. I couldn't also do, also what was that grab? What was that grab? I wasn't even in his hand. Anyway, I couldn't really bring myself to do the cheese unless I was on this boss for like, you know, a week and a half. Then I might consider it, but this was my, what, second attempt, I think? And so I was like, nah, I'll just try him normally. So, what is the strategy for this fight? You know, don't get hit. It's to stay behind him. I struggled to tell how many hits it actually took to stagger him. It was around like 4. The reason it was kind of hard to tell is because obviously I would continue hitting him, and I'm like, I don't know if those count after you do that or not. But I just wailed into him, and it was actually pretty easy to stagger him, or excuse me, to keep him in a staggered state for the most part. Obviously, he breaks out of it. Like right here, you see him attacking, but the amount of times that I could hit him after he staggers is ludicrous. Like his stagger window is very long in phase 1 for some reason. So I was able to get in a lot of hits, which even if those didn't count for the next stagger break, what they did count was for breaking his limbs, like that, which is very useful because, again, it elongates the amount of time that he's not actually doing an attack, and it increases my damage, which at that point, it should be counting for the next stagger. So it's just a nice little loop. Again, this is me trying to praise this weapon. It is not a good weapon. You should do these fights with literally anything else and it would be better, except for maybe a torch. Actually, I haven't tried the torch yet. Maybe that's worse. Maybe we do a torch only run. Oh, please no. I changed my mind. I never want to. I regret saying that. But anyway, any other weapon would be better than the Fist of Gratia, but trying my hardest to sing its praise, this fight was kind of easy with it. I've struggled with Lawrence a lot in normal runs, and so to get him on my second try was pretty... I was really happy, because I expected this one in cost to take at least a week each, right? Like, I expected to come back to this every day, like, 20, 30 attempts before I was like, I can't do this. I need help. But I got him. But phase 1, it's literally just keep circling behind him. Hope that he does, like, that attack. I mean, if I dodged it, it would have been better. But that attack is great. His grabs are great. There's plenty of windows to actually hit him. Now, phase 2, things get a bit trickier, sort of. Like then you just saw when he shits out lava, or you could roll into his attacks like me. Don't do that. But whenever he poops out lava, there's a big, like, area that you can't get to because, there's lava there. Same thing with when he pukes it. But he's still kind of open on the sides. Obviously, I mean, that's how you hit him, I guess. But since this thing's range is so short, it's kind of tough to do it. And one attack that I really wanted him to do, and I'm trying to wait to see if he does it, and he doesn't want to cooperate with me. The recording is not cooperating with me. Is whenever he, what is it? He swings his, that one right there. When he does that, there is a lot of time to hit him, but his hurt box is slightly smaller or out of the way from where his collision is. And this happened a lot right at the end of the fight. I would miss. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was that attack. I'm just stupid. It's whenever he swings his right arm across like that. That I would try and punish that by getting close to it, and I would miss occasionally, that first swing. I've been hitting it here, but I would miss. And it's just because the collision for his hurt box is shifted further than the collision of his actual, like, the collider of his body, so I couldn't get close enough to hit him. Fortunately, it has a long enough cooldown period where you can just get an extra swing, and even though it kind of looks like he'd recover faster, he doesn't. He does stagger in... was it 4 hits? I think it's 4 hits to stagger him in phase 2. But he recovers a lot faster for some reason. And so it only allowed for a 1-hit follow-up, which is fine. But yeah, that's Lawrence. I fully expected him to be way, way harder and for this to take me multiple tries, but it kind of didn't, and I'm really glad. It was a 14.5-minute fight, but he's dead. Well, 2 more to go, and honestly, I don't know what to do. Koss is probably going to be harder than Ebrietis, so narratively speaking, it makes sense to do her first, but man am I tired of spending half an hour just to fail. But it must be done. I'll go ahead and clear my way to the orphan just to make future me's life a tiny bit easier, then return to the altar of despair. Oh boy, we are back to my worst nightmare. Okay, so there is a lot to unpack in this fight. Sort of. Really, the solution is the same as Amy. It's hit her in the head, right? The problem is actually hitting her in the head. Wow, it's just like the Amy fight. So, okay, where do I even begin? First off, I'm going to say it was an 18-minute fight. That's a long time. And I went from doing like 86 damage a swing to 137, which is kind of a good increase. That's what? It's not as much as doubling my damage, but, you know, it's getting kind of close, like 1.8 or something. But that's good. So, okay. Why is this fight so hard? Well, first off, it is very hard to consistently hit her in the head. There are windows, and I will go over them in a second. But the other reason it was hard is because, one, she can do a fuck ton of damage if she hits you with pretty much anything. There are a couple of attacks that don't do a whole lot, but like this charge, it hurts if you get hit by it. Her head slams, they hurt. Her tentacle sweeps, they can do a lot, specifically if you get hit by both of the tentacles that go by, which is what killed me a few times. But yeah, so the fact that this fight took so long while she does so much damage was a problem. But alright, so let's go over the good things about this fight. The things that I was looking to bait are the head slam. You see me just sprinting at and away from her because I'm looking for that. Specifically, that attack is the one that I really wanted to come out. Because if you sprint away from her and then sprint back at her as she's doing it, and you time it correctly, you can land 3 hits, 3 head hits, 1 from the sprinting attack and then 2 while you're standing there, and you have enough time to back up. Another attack that is good is she'll do like a 2-hand and 2 tentacle slam followed by lowering her head. I'll call it out whenever she does it. And here I broke her head, so I do even more damage. So that's good. At this point, the fight gets, you know, like a 2% faster, right? So I broke her head. But that 2-hand, 2-tentacle slam is good. The problem is you have to like sprint directly at her. Otherwise, you'll end up running along the tentacles, and this attack has so little range that you just kind of hit her with your arm. That right there. So those are the 2 things I was looking to bait for most of the fight. Now that she's in phase, what I really call this phase 2, like phase 1.5, I think she has the other attack. I haven't really seen her do it yet though, so maybe I'm wrong. But her charge is also actually something that I want her to do because, and right here you see me do it, I can run by her because I'm already sprinting, right? I'm already moving out of the way, so it's very unlikely that she'll hit me. But I can run by her and then turn around and hit her in her little floppy tentacle foot thing for not a whole lot of damage, like 50 or something. But it's extra damage. So in theory, if she just exclusively did that attack, I could punish that and she would die. It would just take, you know, an hour. Okay, so the second attack, and I know she can do it now, is this spit. So as you can see, if you time it correctly and you're already kind of close enough, you can get a follow-up hit whenever that happens. You know, and I just popped the Beast Blood because I assumed that she was going to go into her phase 2. Yep, she did. So that's free damage right there. But anyway, so that attack, that split attack, you can get close enough, or if you're already close enough, excuse me, you can sprint at her after the second one and hit her just once. The problem, and the reason why I went and got the Ashen Hunter set and the sedatives, is because that attack, before when I was wearing the Hunter set and had a billion insight and stuff, getting clipped by that spit would proc Frenzy 100%. Which means it would take me 2 health vials every single time that I got hit by it, which is not good because in phase 2, as you know, she has an aura around her that damages the player. So I could not get hit by that attack like more than once or twice really, because it would take 2 blood vials every single time I got hit by it. So I mean, the other solution is to just never try and punish that attack, but when the fight takes that long, you kind of gotta go for it, you know. It wasn't too terribly dangerous, and the actual attack, I mean, the times I got hit by it, it didn't seem to do very much. I have seen it do more damage, so I don't really know what the hitbox on that is, but the times that I got hit by it, it was like, oh, you took 2 damage, you're just now taking Frenzy, which did a lot back then. But yeah, so those 3 attacks, and now what I want is that, her phase 2 charge. I got hit by it there because I was not paying attention to my surroundings, but she slams her head into the ground, as you can see. So if you're sprinting away from her when she does that, you can turn around and sprint into her for a free attack. The problem is that she seems to react slightly faster in phase 2. So she, like, you can't just hang around. You have to attack once and then like immediately start sprinting or dodging backwards from her. But that's it. Basically both charges, the head slam, that split attack, the 2 tentacle slam attack, and then lots of running away from her. You'll see me, you've already seen me do it, but you'll see me like turn the camera around while I'm not engaged with the fight. It's because I'm trying to check behind me to see how much space is left in the arena, because she definitely did kill me multiple times where I just didn't realize I didn't have enough space to run away, and you know, that was it. That was just death. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that I think there's like a semi-safe spot. It might be right between her foot tentacle things, or onto her side, I'm not sure. But I want to say that there's a semi-safe spot to hit her, and she can still hit you, but it's not like super common. The reason I don't do it here is because I don't do enough damage to kill her before her aura probably finishes me off. Even with heals, I don't know. I don't really want to risk it, because what would happen to me, let's just assume it's like 90% safe, right? I would stand in that spot, hit her and be like, oh, I'm at, 30% health. I should probably heal. And that's when she decides to do whatever attack that can reach me, and it kills me. Like, that is 100% what would happen, because I just have that kind of luck. But that's about it. That is the Ebrietis fight. She's a pain in the ass in this run. Absolutely do not recommend ever fighting her with this weapon. Don't just look at this video and be like, man, that looks like it sucks, and realize that it does. Don't ever think, oh, I could do that. I'm sure you could, my friend, but you don't fucking want to, trust me. There is one other attack that she can do, that off the top of my head, that can be punished, and it's whenever she like goes into a frenzy, like swiping her tentacles left and right repeatedly, because it ends in that slam. She'll do it like a 1-2-1-2 combo followed by the slam. Maybe I was just lucky and she just did the slam after. I don't know. It looked like one continuous animation. I don't know if she did it on this winning attempt or not, but she definitely did it in one of the attempts where she killed me, because I was like, oh, that's another opportunity to hit her. But it's basically the same as whenever she slams the 4 tentacles down followed by lowering her head. It's just that. Yeah, that's it. That's the entirety of Ebrietis. It is a 18, 20, 25, depending on how much damage you do, minute-long slogfest. 0 out of 10. Don't recommend it at all. And this is the boss. This one and Celestial Emissary are the 2 bosses that I thought would be the biggest problem in the base game. I guess I can't really judge Celestial Emissary because of what happened, but, I was right on the money with this boss, and that sucks. I top off my blood vials and harden my heart for the Orphan of Kos. Oh boy, Kos. Or some say Cosm. Or something like that. Okay. So, this fight. Oh no, this fight. Okay. Believe it or not, and I'm going to ruin the magic here. Believe it or not, I got Kos on the first try. I'm kind of proud of that. That's why I'm leading with it. I am surprised I got him on the first try. I did not expect Phase 1 to be an issue because I've got about 1 billion years worth of experience fighting Phase 1, but I fully expected Phase 2 to just absolutely kick my shit in. To be fair, a couple times it got a little dicey, but really on the whole, it was not a terrible fight. So it ended up being, did I write down? Oh no, I didn't write down how long it was. Editing me. Check how long this fight was. Thanks, editing me. Okay. So, the good news is, similar to Ludwig, he can get staggered after a single hit, if that hit comes at the end of his animation. I don't know how, like, the power armor or hyper armor in this game works or whatever, but it does, and it's great. Again, this weapon is absolutely garbage, never use it, but hey, I can finally say that specifically to Ludwig and Kos, there is a little bit of ground to the people that said, oh, you use it to stagger the boss and chain your combos. So in this case, sure, if you hit him once, he'll stagger, and then you can follow it up with something. It just has to be something really fast, and then you have to get the hell away from him anyway. So that was like 50% praise, 51% praise. I was trying to be nice. If it does not stagger him in one hit, like you just saw, it only takes 2, which is fantastic. 2 hits to stagger Kos, or 1 in, whatever case, is amazing. And that carries over into Phase 2, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember it not following that rule, because I feel like I would have definitely written that down, which is not part of my notes. But so it doing it in 1 or 2 hits in Phase 2 as well is just phenomenal. So what attacks am I looking to bait? Well, the big one that everybody would probably guess is when he jumps at you in Phase 1. Is he going to do it here? No, he's not. But that attack actually is another one, because it's got a slow enough cooldown to where you can get either the one hit that'll stagger him, or if you miss the first one, which I did, 2. Right there is the attack I originally mentioned, is that jump. Again, if you do not stagger him in the first hit, there's enough time for you to get a second one and then just back off. So that's 2 hits or 2 attacks that are easily punishable. That is another one that I like to punish. That time I did not dodge it correctly. I wanted to dodge to his right, but I went to his left because spacing. Right there I did it correctly. Unfortunately, he did not stagger in 1 hit, so I got punished. Fine, whatever. Another good one is this, but that's not the one I meant. His big, like, spinny attack. The big charge spinny attack, excuse me. Or this one, but only if you're already next to him, because you can get real close to him. But really, there's actually kind of a lot of opportunities to hit Kos in Phase 1. Which is great, right? I would not want to do this fight if it was like, oh, there's only one thing you can punish, period, for the entire fight. That would be atrocious. It would be awful. I would never want to do this. To be fair, I mean, I didn't want to do this anyway, which is why I didn't do it in the first video, but here we are, right? I can't run from my problems forever. But yeah, Phase 1 Kos is not an issue. Oh, that's the spinny attack I meant. That one. If you dodge through or into him or whatever, just don't. If you don't get hit by his attack, that one is perfect for being able to punish him. And here I actually thought I had him in a loop because he kept doing the same two attacks over and over, and I'm like, imagine if I managed to get the like no animation like pose thing with the Fist of Gratia. That would be incredible. Unfortunately, as you can see, he stopped doing it and phase transitioned. Now, Phase 2, the best attack to punish is the triple slam one, which he does. He actually did it a lot in this fight, like a lot. This attack. I don't know why. I honestly thought maybe the Fist of Gratia was causing this to happen, but he seriously did it very, very frequently, and I'm I guess I'm happy about that, right? Like I'm if he wants to throw the fight, that's fine. I don't remember when. It might be here, but he seriously does it like 4 times in a row. But yeah, that's it. Literally dodge it by walking backwards, dodging backwards in my case because I'm so close to him. and then walking underneath the final slam to get 2 gut punches, and it staggers him, and you just repeat it. Like, look at this. I didn't dash back that time. But seriously, that was like, what, was that 4 or 5? I wasn't counting, because I didn't realize that was the correct timing. But it's insane. Why is he suddenly doing it so much? How come he doesn't do that on other runs? I would love for him to always do that attack. But yeah, so there's that. That's the obvious one. If you're close enough, you can actually stagger him out of the lightning. Right there, I just canceled his lightning attack. But obviously, it still takes 2 hits to stagger him. So if you're not close whenever he starts the lightning, that's not gonna work at all. Which I'm pretty sure he gets it off at a later point in this fight. But there's that one, the 3 slam, that jump attack, which is at the end of a combo, I believe. So there's a couple times to hit him, which I'm thoroughly surprised. Here I tried to stagger him out of lightning. I guess it took more than 2 in that case. I took 3, so it didn't actually get him to knock him out of it in time. But it's still cool to me that you can knock him out of it. But that's pretty much costs, Phase 1 and Phase 2. I knew going in that my plan was to bait the jumping attacks for both phases. And so that's what I ended up doing. I wish I knew how long this took. Editing me? Put it on the screen again. Thanks, editing me. Yeah, you're beautiful. Thank you so much. But yeah, this was a fairly long fight. It was not the longest. I'm pretty sure Living Failures took the longest, just because they have an insane amount of health, followed by Arietis. But yeah, what did this come in at? Oh well, I'll figure it out later. But you saw me pop a Beast Blood pellet there, and that's because at this point I was like, oh shit, am I actually gonna first try Koss? And so I was like, I assumed the lean forward gaming chair position, right? Because I was like, I want to do the damage. I don't want to choke now because I'm so close to winning. I don't want to lose. So I was actually, I was trying before, but here I was like, okay, we gotta try harder. Fortunately, he starts doing this frickin' jump loop slam again. I can't wait to show this off to the other runners and be like, guys, look at how many times he did that jump slam. Isn't it great? Obviously though, like I said, same thing I've said for every other boss, this weapon is not the ideal choice. Use literally anything else. But it is kind of cool to me that I'm finally seeing it feel like it's not a completely worthless weapon. Like, hey, there's this one shining itty-bitty, like, 1 nanometer diamond in this mountain of shit that is the Fist of Gratia, right? And it's especially wonderful because it's happening to Koss, which this is, I guess to be fair, it's probably not the Fist of Gratia's, like, fault that he's doing that jump slam. It's just his AI being stupid. But I like it. I will take it. I will happily take his AI being completely stupid for me to take the victory. But yeah, there's pretty much nothing else to talk about until the actual fight concludes in a couple minutes. He's just gonna keep slamming. I guess one thing I could say, sorry, I'm just coming back from the dead to keep talking, is that this is a perfect example of how the Beast Blood pellets really aren't that helpful, because I got like, what, 3 attacks off during that entire duration of that one? Probably more, if I wasn't counting, but not very much. So, sure, extra damage, but it's like, not a lot of extra damage, just because I don't have a lot of opportunities to hit the boss. But that is the Orphan of Koss. He went for the lightning right at the end because he's smart. He's a smart boss.
Thank you everyone for watching, and an extra special thanks to my patrons. Stay beautiful, y'all. Also, big shout out and thanks to JK Leeds, Limit of the Backlogs, and Baron's Castle for providing their top-notch voices for the intro. If you want to help support me and the channel directly, why not consider subscribing to my Patreon? Because for as little as $3 a month, you can get access to the next video right now. Like, it's actually already live there. But until next time, my friends, fear the old blood.